Welcome to the Soldier in Me podcast. This is episode 1, and it's the start of something new. Whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or watching me on YouTube, I'm so excited to have you guys here, and I'm so excited to be your host. My name is Tania Michelle. Let's get started on who I am before we dive into today's episode. Today's episode is called Overcoming the Fear of Creating Your Own Path. So a little bit about myself. I'm a meteorologist. If you don't know already, I work at WBRC Fox 6 News in Birmingham, Alabama, the #1 station. I love it here. I am also a business owner. I have my own fitness clothing line. I'm wearing one of the sets right now. Content creator, I would say influencer. I create content pretty consistently. So if you follow me on any of my social media platforms, you'll see a reel or a new post just about every single day. I try to interact with my online community in hopes that I can build it and empower and inspire other women across the globe. So the start of this podcast, it's not my first podcast. It's actually kind of like my third, but I needed something new, something that I can really be consistent in, something that fits my brand. So the Soldier in Me podcast came to my mind and my thought just about a month ago. I joined the U.S. Navy starting the summer of last year, and I just got accepted, and I'll be commissioning in as a Navy officer in the reserves. So I wanted to merge my military lifestyle with who I am as a person, and to bring that together, what better way to do that than to call my podcast The Soldier in Me? Because I truly believe there's a soldier inside of every single person, something that they have done courageously in their life. I believe that everyone has some kind of grit. Everyone deep down in their bones has power and confidence, and sometimes it just needs to be cultivated a little bit. So that's what my podcast is for. I'm here to empower, inspire, and hopefully cultivate your inner strength so that it can be shown in everything that you do in life. So the name of this podcast, once again, is called Overcoming the Fear of Creating Your Own Path. Everything in life that you will possibly do may not have been done before. Not everything in your life that you may want to do has been done before. And that's sometimes the hardest. There are things that you may want to do, but because you've never seen it, you're afraid to do it. You're afraid to start it. So Mother's Day just passed. I got back yesterday from visiting my family. It was so awesome. Cash came down with the goal of fixing my mom's van, and he did it. I helped a little bit. My hands were dirty, so I helped. I helped him a little bit fix the CV axle on the minivan, and it's up and running. It never was not running. It's just that it would have this clicky noise when you turn. But I just want to say, for every mom out there, I don't know how you guys do it. I don't have kids yet, but I'm so proud of you, because being a mom and having that extra responsibility of taking care of another human being makes you a real soldier. Like, every mother out there, I have to give you your flowers, because I know it's not an easy job. I know you have days where you feel alone, or you struggle, or you're tired, but you still get up and you keep going. That's the soldier in you. The soldier in our mothers is the same kind of soldier that I want to cultivate in every young woman before they even have kids. It's because there's going to be times where you're going to have to juggle a lot. There's going to be times where fear is going to try to hold you back. But there's also going to be times where you can reach within yourself and pull out your inner soldier and accomplish everything that you once thought you couldn't. So that is why my podcast is here. My podcast, The Soldier in Me, is to bring out the soldier in you. Let's get started on episode 1. All right, guys. So a little bit about myself. My name is Tania Michelle, now Davis. I got married in December to the amazing Marcashius Davis. Everyone calls him Cash, Cash Money. He is the hardest working man I could have ever met in my entire life. I married such an amazing man, and he has brought out the soldier in me more times than I can count. There's been times where I've felt like I wasn't capable of doing something, and he encourages me and I get it done. So I really just wanted to restart a whole new branding on a whole new podcast, because I wanted to fit my life in a way that I can just show up authentically as myself. So I've had 2 podcasts before. One strictly for work called Mets Around the World, where I interviewed people. Had another one called Tania Talks or something like that. Another one with my sisters called Stay on Top Podcast, which is similar to this one. And I could continue the Stay on Top podcast, but to be honest, I just want to start fresh. I want this to be my very own. I want it to be mine. I want to start the foundation and build it strong so I can come up on here consistently like I do on all my social media platforms, talk about my life, hopefully to encourage and inspire you in yours. This podcast, we're going to talk about overcoming the fear of creating your own path. I have my notes over here to my right because I have a few ways that you can overcome the fear of starting something new and paving your own path in your life. I am a meteorologist, a content creator, and a business owner, all of which I haven't seen a lot of people do. And it gets scary. You start to realize that there are gonna be people that don't believe in what you're doing, that don't see what you're doing as necessary. People will make you feel like what you're doing is crazy. And I have experienced that so much in my life. I go to work and people don't understand why I create content the way that I do, why I'm so consistent at it. I get down when my content's not doing that great. And it's just hard. It's hard pursuing a path that you don't see a lot of people do, because you're more than likely gonna be the first person to do it. And it's going to take you to do it to give someone else the confidence to take that path on their own. And I've been learning this. So I want to just break down a couple of ways that you can overcome the fear of creating your own path, whether that's starting a YouTube channel and working a 9-to-5 in corporate America, whether that's starting a podcast while having your own business and working a job in corporate America where people just strictly feel like clocking into the 9-to-5 is all you're supposed to do, go home, tend to your family, come back and clock back into your 9-to-5. And I know there's a lot of people that no longer do this and that they've been showing that it's possible to pursue your passions in your life. But one thing that I've noticed is that you'll step into your job, your 9-to-5, and people may not look at you the same way or may feel like you're just doing too much or you're trying to do the most. When you're around people who have mindsets of doing it all is okay and it's great and they're here for it, and then you go around people who are smaller minded and they are like, oh, what is she doing? Not a fan. It makes you start to question yourself. And I don't want you to do that, because the dreams and the goals and the passions that you have for your life, they're there for a reason. God gave you them. He's instilled that in you, and I want you to accomplish it. So number one, embrace uncertainty. Fear often stems from the unknown. And I want to encourage you that you're going to start something not knowing what you're starting. You're going to start something not having a clue as where to begin. The most fulfilling journeys is often taken with a leap into the unknown. So for me, I started my YouTube channel in 2016. Keep in mind, I'm 16 years old. My parents are not fond of social media because of the fact that I'm sharing my entire life on the internet for everyone to have a voice in. And it was definitely a journey. And starting something where most people don't understand or they think it's weird, it can be very difficult, because it's just like you have all these voices in your head and you don't know if what you're doing is okay if everyone on the outside is telling you not to do it, if that makes sense. But the thing that I remember most about being 16 and starting my YouTube channel and taking that leap of faith is that I was so courageous. I had that childlike mentality and that childlike faith that the opinions of people really didn't bother me. But then you get older, you become an adult, you turn 18, you turn 21, you get pushed into the real world, and people start telling you that what you're doing is not okay. What you're doing is not good, or what you're doing is not purposeful, or what you're doing should not be done. Like, let's just be honest. You become an adult and people think that you should just have a job, you should just clock into your 9-to-5, you should get that paycheck, pay your bills, and turn around the next day and do it all over again. But we live in a society where Gen Z are paving new paths. They're starting YouTube channels. They're creating TikToks. They're making millions and billions of dollars online. And it is not common. It's not common. Generations before us couldn't have imagined of starting an online platform and seeing it flourish the way that it does and the way that it's doing for so many young people. They're buying cars and houses at 16 years old, and those are paths that have not been done before. So when you start to think about what you want to do in your life, you're really going to have to embrace the uncertainty. You're going to have to embrace the fact that people may not be on board with what you're doing, but if you can find your reason why and use that as a foundation, you will succeed. And just don't give up. And you might not know what you're doing when you started because you haven't seen anyone else do it before. So give yourself grace in the process and take that leap of faith. Find that childlike faith, build a foundation for what you truly want to create, and do your best with creating it the best way that you possibly can. And just think about the benefits that it could possibly have and follow other people who are on that same path as you or who have done something that you are trying to do, and use that as motivation. When you see them going, know that you can do it too. Number 2, start small, but start now. We often wait until things are perfect to start. And honestly, that's not going to be the case. I'm starting a business. Let me just tell you about my fitness line. I have made probably under $200 worth of sales in the last 2 years. The business has been so slow. It's a drop shipping store where I sell fitness clothing in sets so that people can just buy the sets, wear them, and look cute. Because there's so many fitness brands and clothing brands that are so expensive. You have to buy the top for $60. You have to buy the bottom for $60, and you spend all this money. And I am not trying to do all that. I wear workout clothes to feel confident, to feel good, and I run them to the dirt. Like, I wear them just about all the time, every single day. I'm not spending $120 on some clothing that is falling apart after I wash it 3 times. Now, Lululemon is a different brand, okay? Some of those brands are so good and the quality is so great that you can wear it 1,000,000 times and the quality will still uphold. That's fine. But for someone like me, who doesn't want to spend that much money, I created this brand, Parable Fitness, so that people can have a place to buy affordable fitness clothes, okay? So let's just talk about taking the leap. Starting now. I had no clue what I was doing when I was starting a business. I had no clue what it took, what it takes, or how to even begin. My parents are not entrepreneurs. They don't own businesses. My grandparents are not entrepreneurs. They don't own businesses. There weren't people in my immediate circle that I could go to and ask them how to be an entrepreneur. So I went to social media, because it is a place where you can connect with people across the globe and you don't have to necessarily know them, and they'll help you. So I found this one lady, her name is Perseus, and she's really taught me how to start my business from scratch and to grow it. It's still not doing the very best because I haven't had a whole lot of time to pour into it. It's one of those slow things where I just decided to start now one day. I woke up and said, you know what, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. And that's exactly what I did. So I'm sharing my story to let you know that people on social media don't tell you the real truth behind starting a business. It will possibly fail. It will take years to grow. It's not an overnight success type of thing. But if you don't start now, you'll never reap the benefits of ever starting. You might just grow super fast, but 9 times out of 10, you won't. So if you don't start now, you delay your growth in whatever it is that you're trying to do. My third thing is to cultivate self-compassion. Fear of failure is going to come. We all fear failure. But if you don't fail, you'll never succeed. And there's another podcast that I listen to called the Girls in Real Life podcast, and she talks about this very often, where if you don't ever get up and do it, you'll never succeed. You have to push past the fact that if you fail, your life is over, because it's not. You have to fail to succeed. Let's be honest. But you have to give yourself grace when you do fail and get back up and try to figure out a way that you can do it again and not fail that same way. You want to make sure that when you get up, you don't make the same mistakes that you did the first time that you had that failure. So I'm a meteorologist, and a lot of people don't know, but weather was never my first path in life. I chose to be a meteorologist because I realized there are so many storms that we face in life that it related to the weather. Storms come, storms go. You get up, you try again. And when I realized that I could relate weather to the storms that I faced in my life, I said, oh yeah, this is the career for me, baby. Because I truly felt like I can have a purpose in my life, telling people the forecast, but also encouraging and inspiring young people to face the storms in their life. And that's what this podcast is for. That's what my entire platform is for, to empower and inspire young minds. Because I wish I had someone to listen and to watch growing up that could inspire me to do what I'm doing now. I had to face so many barriers and overcome so many obstacles to get to where I am. And it's cool because I'm a soldier and you are too. So you have to give yourself compassion. You have to be empathetic with yourself. You will make mistakes. Being a meteorologist was not something I just went into as a pro, as an expert. I'm still learning, and the weather's always changing. Science always changes. There are still things that I'm learning each and every day to hopefully become the expert in the future. I'm only 24 years old. I just turned 24 in March of 2024, and I am learning things every single day, and that's why I wanted to start this podcast, to show you my journey and give you the real, because people don't. Social media is a highlight reel, Instagram is a highlight reel, but my podcast is not. My YouTube channel is not. You will see the journey that I embark on and some of the failures, and I'll go back and tell you about the failures once I get through them. But you have to give yourself compassion and have empathy with yourself. Be kind with yourself along the way and encourage yourself to reframe failure as a learning opportunity and celebrate the courage that you've been taking on your own path. Number 4 is the bonus, because I want to only give 3 tips in all of my podcasts, but this is the first episode. So I said, hey, why not go all the way? Number 4 is to surround yourself with supportive people. Building your own path can be very difficult. You need to surround yourself with people, follow people on social media, keep listening to podcasts like this one and another podcast called Girls in Real Life Podcast by Mariah Clayton, and Misunderstood by Kelly. She's a soldier. She's in the Navy. So those are people that you want to start listening to, and I'll start to tell you guys some more. I'll have an episode on just things and people that I listen to and people that I follow on social media that keep me encouraged on my own path, because you're going to need it. You're going to need it. You're going to want to have people in your circle, your family and your friends that understand what you're doing and that want to encourage you, even if they don't truly understand it. Make sure you surround yourself with supportive people, because these are the people you're going to lean on when you want to give up. And a reminder, you can do it all, but you don't have to do it all alone. And that's one thing that my mom has taught me. She does so much for us, and she really loves the aspect of family and a family unit, and how she can do it all, but she chooses not to do it all alone. She has her husband, she has me, she has her son-in-law, my husband, Cash, she has her other daughters, Tanine and Tylene. I'm the middle child of 2 sisters. And that's one thing that as women, we sometimes fall into the trap of wanting to do it all, but we do it all alone, and you don't have to do that. That does not have to be your story. You can have a tribe. I'm part of your tribe. Reach out to me, follow me on social media. Let's do life together, because I understand the difficulties that we face when we do things alone. It becomes isolating. It becomes depressing. And I don't want you to follow on that path, okay? We are here to succeed, and we are here to succeed together. There's enough in this world to go around for all of us. So I hope you guys take something away from this first episode of the Soldier in Me podcast. I hope I truly cultivate the soldier in you. You are bright, you are brilliant, you are valued, you are seen, you are heard. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Tania Michelle, and I'll see you next week in the Soldier in Me podcast. Love you guys. Bye.